What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? How's everybody doing out there? How's your day going today? What a glorious night of WNBA playoff basketball. I got to say, that was a really, really good, fun, entertaining night of some hoops in the W. We're going to get to a lot of what transpired there. Look ahead to tonight and everything like that, and look ahead to game three. But I want to start by saying this because I think there is a message of appreciation that needs to be broadcast here. I think there is a certain team that needs to be applauded and thanked for the WNBA playoff action last night. Everybody thank the Indiana Fever. Becky Hammond complained that the playoff format was changed because Caitlin Clark and company didn't get a home playoff game last year. Well, it's a good thing it was because we got the high intensity action at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Fever stayed alive once again to force a decisive game 3 against the Dream. And then the Storm beat the Aces in Seattle, snapping that 17-game winning streak, and the crowd erupted. Those felt like NBA crowds in both cities, and it made the first round so much more compelling that the underdog team wasn't facing elimination with back-to-back games on the road. So sorry, Becky Hammond, and thanks, Indiana Fever. That's the way I would look at it right there. I mean, that's a huge change. That's a huge win for the WNBA, and it makes these first-round playoff series so much more exciting going into these game threes. So that's the way you have to look at that, I think, at least. And then let's start with the Fever themselves. The Indiana Fever season is a success, right? All things considered. I mean, you want to sit there and go what could have been, because with Caitlin Clark, who's to say they're not winning the championship this season? But you have to focus on what is. And what is a team that has overcome obstacles and adversity all season long. Like I said, they're Jason in Friday the 13th. You're never dead. They're always getting back up and marching on. And in this case, they march on in the playoffs by beating the Dream, at least to another game. That is, keep their season alive amid all the injuries that they've had. And that's in a season where they finish over 500. They finish better than they did a year ago. They win their first playoff game since 2015, when coincidentally Stephanie White was also the coach. And they also did win that Commissioner's Cup over the Minnesota Lynx. So when you take into account all of the adversity, you have to register this Fever season as a success, due to the extenuating circumstances. So that's, the win. That's what a playoff win does for the Fever last night, I think. It's not to say it's not to say that this is a team that isn't done and is going to have to wrap up the year or anything like that. This is a team that still is trying to win. This is a team that is still, alive for the playoffs. And they're not going to just sit there and quit and give up. But let's look at some of the highlights from last night, some of what took place. First of all, the Corgi is correct, right? This was the dog. It had Dream game 1, Fever game 2, Fever game 3. So there you have it. The Corgi might be foretelling the Fever future right here. The Corgi might have it correct. Hold on one second, guys. I apologize. I pushed the live back a few minutes because there was a dishwasher delivery at the house, and now apparently I might have to sign for something. 1 second. I apologize. My bad. All right. The Corgi may have had the Fever season predicted correct. And then you look at what happened last night in the game and the excitement that took place there at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That was the kind of thing that you can't really capture unless you're there, right? I mean, look at Caitlin Clark and company on the bench in the midst of it. The celebration. That was on the Lexi Hull shot. Of course, that, was really the sort of maybe the signature moment of the season, all things considered at this point in time. Lexi Hull hitting that three on the kick out there. In that sequence that started with Aaliyah Boston inside, and then the Fever get the steal, and it winds up with Lexi Hull here knocking down this shot and everybody getting up out their seats. Kelsey with the steal. Ball gets fumbled around a little bit. Aaliyah out to Lexi. Cash. Explosion. Everybody celebrating. Everybody into it. The Fever continue this season from hell, or whatever you want to call it, as they march through the fires and remain active, remain alive, remain all those things. It's, Stephanie White, by the way, let's give her some credit. I know, I've done it all season long, but she's been much maligned. Brianna Turner, another person who's been much maligned in the course of this, and she was clutch with her defensive performance. Just a lot of players and coaches coming up big. It was a balanced effort. It's been Kelsey Mitchell sort of carrying the team as of late. And in this one, you got a bunch of different contributions. Got a bunch of different contributions, and you get an Indiana Fever win with a game 3 against Atlanta, where I don't think this series is out of the, it's out of the realm of possibilities. The Fever take that one or steal that one at this point, the way they look last night relative to the Dream. I mean, I think they would have smoked Atlanta if Caitlin Clark had been healthy. That's for sure. But, as is, they're right there. And, I say the season is a success, or it should be considered a success already, but there's no way they're thinking that way. They're thinking, let's go get another win. Let's go get another win. They got to go to that dark, dreary court and everything. But nonetheless, really just congratulations to them. Hats off to the Indiana Fever for what they've been able to accomplish this season. Then there was also the other game last night. The Atlanta Dream lose to the Fever, of course. And then the Seattle Storm beat the Las Vegas Aces. They snapped that Aces winning streak. And that was a surprise considering the way that game went down. The way that it changed. Dominic Malonga comes into the game and things changed. I mean, look at this. Look at this number right here. The win probability was very, very high in favor of the Aces at one point, 97.5% when Malonga checked into the game. And she made a huge impact in this one with her play, actually making contributions. This right here, and one, was a big play in the game. Obviously, that put the Storm up right there. And then Skylar Diggins wound up shutting the door in the contest. Skylar Diggins with the big shot late in the game to end it. And all of the, is to say, it's just like an exciting night of WNBA playoffs. The best night of the WNBA playoffs so far. Probably the most, that it has engendered excitement going forward. Here's the Sky Diggins play. As you can see, it's 84-83. She pulls up, hits it. Bucket. I'm dealing with texts about this dishwashing situation, and I'm the one in the house. That's the funny part. So this is the perils of doing a live show from your home when you're the only one home and there's things needed in the home. Dishwasher being replaced as we speak, but can't stop the show. Anyhow, really nice win for the Seattle Storm last night as well. And I want to point out the crowds. That's the other thing I mentioned before, but I did definitely notice that last night. Not only did you have the Gamebridge crowd, which, we know that they've been there all year for Indiana, and the, excitement around that team has been something that has captured the imagination of fans across the WNBA and women's basketball as well. And game one of the Fever series on Sunday almost reached 1 million viewers on ABC. Certainly not what it was last year, but certainly not bad as well. But that crowd in Seattle got up and got excited also. They were, really, really pumped in the midst of that. So just a great night of playoff basketball, the best so far. The Fever keep their season alive. The Storm snap that Aces skid, and you get the drama of game threes, 2 game threes on Thursday evening. Then there's real quick, Breanna Stewart, by the way, if you were looking for an update on Stewie, she spoke this morning about the Liberties situation and her knee. This is what she had to say before that game 2 in Brooklyn.
I mean, I wanted to make sure I tried in shoot around, so barring anything crazy happening between now and then, that's my plan. But I just want to make sure that I don't wake up from my nap and feel like
What is it?
So I have a sprain. I sprained my MCL basically. But I think that what I felt in that moment scared me more than anything, and I'm very happy to have gotten my MRI results back and know that it's something that I can play through depending on how much pain I want to be in.
So it sounds like Breanna Stewart will be active for the Liberty. Obviously, good news in a season full of injuries that she is hopefully able to play and not being incapacitated any further, and there's not another player put on the shelf. Hit those likes and subscribes. We'll get the comments rolling here in just a second. Just want to remember to remind everybody, I am at a wedding. I'm in my buddy Vega's wedding this weekend. Shouts to you, my friend. Congratulations. We'll be celebrating him this weekend, and I'm in his wedding. So tomorrow we'll see on a live show how that works. Because there's a chance I go live after the game tomorrow night. My flight is really early on Friday. At worst, I'll do a video after the game tomorrow night. But just in case anybody's wondering about, a live on Friday morning or anything else the rest of the weekend, I will be trying to enjoy myself in a rare moment of celebration and relaxation. So just want to make sure that is put out there into the universe so everybody knows. And, I don't know how much different a show tomorrow would be than today. Maybe some stuff comes up and I do 2 lives tomorrow. Maybe I just do the recap video after with a live in the morning. Maybe I just do the live after the game tomorrow. But just putting all that out into the universe so that everybody is aware and nobody is caught off guard. Always like to keep the communication very open. Diana says, give us a little skip and post a non-live. What does that mean? A little skip. I don't know what the little skip is. Chris Ward says, Robin Lundberg redecorating his studio, a little shelf action. So Rohan, you guys remember the Wolverine and the Hulk that were there? Because I have one Incredible Hulk 181. Rohan broke the Wolverine, which is a number 2 out of 1,000 ever made. So that was one aspect of it. The other is the title, the WWE title there. In the reels that were cropped up, it's like showing up. So whatever I'd had right next to my head there was showing up so prominently in the background that it was almost distracting in the reels. At first it was the Hulk, then it was the WWE title. So I moved that around a little bit. There's still room to shift things. Let me know what you guys think. But that's the I'm definitely skipping the live on Friday, Dinah. There will be no live on Friday unless I somehow get it from the wedding, but no. Kevin says, was a witness to him breaking the Wolverine. I wonder if Robin got mad. Kevin, you can probably give a fair assessment of my reaction to Rohan breaking the Wolverine. How do you guys like the way the background looks right now, by the way? I don't know if mad was the right. I mean, I was a little irritated because he's like daddy, and then I see the thing broken in half. So I wouldn't say I was like thrilled. I don't know. I didn't like lose it on him or anything. if that's the the way it goes, Kevin could more disappointed than angry. There you go. Let me get back to the top of the comments. Good morning, Fever Addicts, says Chris Ward. Yeah, I mean, let me give a shout out to a couple members of the Fever too. As I said, the Fever maligned group. Stephanie White I mentioned, but she's the coach the last time the Fever won a playoff game as well. So there's that. There is Aaliyah Boston, who has gotten plenty of credit, but she played really well. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell's just been brilliant. Odyssey Sims was one of the only players who I didn't think had a very good game. She made a play late, but had some turnover problems and the like. But really, the two players that I was going to single out, well, three. Let's do three, because I think Michaela Timpson did well in her limited minutes, and Stephanie White showed some trust. So you've got that going on. And on top of that, there's Natasha Howard, who had a ton of energy out there. And then Brianna Turner, who, remember, people were wanting cut from the team. So I wanted to give them a little extra love. Yeah, people are saying I could put the Caitlin Clark basketball where the title is. It's a nice title. I like the and I do wrestling and WWE stuff as well. It's just like the nicest actual piece I have. Get those likes and subscribes in. Twofold says, I look like I never get real mad. I get mad sometimes. There's no question. I try not to lose it on my kids when I can help it. Turner is a nice basketball player. She's in the correct occupation. Yeah, I mean, that's why you can't you got a vet there who's been a pro all season long. And people want to rush to judgment when every team has players who don't play that much over the course of the season. And every team has, situations where somebody's going to be called on because things don't go exactly correct. And that's where Bree Turner really stepped up. And she's been huge. She's been huge for the Fever as of late, and she was huge for them last night, especially defensively. Ariel Powers also brought a lot of energy last night as well. So I want to make sure she gets a shout out too. And there's a lot of different players who deserve it. And then again, the coach. Chris Ward says, seriously, Steph White getting this team of replacements to play well together is remarkable. Nat Howard was fighting for those boards. She's certain, Natasha Howard has had some ups and downs, but definitely an up last night. Thumbs up, and I do remember when everybody wanted Bree Turner cut. she's not an offensive stalwart. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to oversell it and say, like, look out, WNBA, Bree Turner's on the loose. But it's worth acknowledging when someone handles the situation as professionally as she has and then steps up when their number is called. And that's what happened. Now, I mean, I still can't, you see Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham on the sideline, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't think about what could have been, or I don't wait, is Caitlin Clark really ruled out? Could she come back for the second round? Those thoughts don't turn in my head. And obviously Sophie done too. But like if those two players were on the floor and Ari McDonald was on the floor, I'm not so sure the Fever can't beat anybody. But alas, that's not the case. And with the hand that the Fever have been dealt, they've come up aces who they may face in the second round. Ben Lamperick says, even if Dantas was healthy, would rather play Turner over her. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, Turner's more versatile defensively. Dantas can actually bring something on offense, the ability to shoot and spread the floor. That Turner can't. But, that's the differences in players who aren't complete players. I mean, there's a position the Fever probably have to address in the offseason, along with a two-way wing, things of that nature. Get those likes and subscribes in. Member chats, super chats go first. But yeah, I wanted to recognize the playoff format and the excitement. Give the Seattle Storm a little bit of credit, and of course, also the Indiana Fever, who were tremendous last night, really. This is a good point. Dantas has been such a puzzle this season, would have preferred the team keeping Temi. Yeah, for sure. Temi Fagbenle has played really well. The Valkyrie season on the line tonight against the Minnesota Lynx, as well as the Liberty and the Mercury. Valkyries on the brink. Same with the Mercury. We'll see how those things shake out. But that 1-1-1 format makes a big difference, right? I mean, New York is in such a position of power because of it, because they stole game one on the road. The Lynx were going to be favored regardless, no matter where that game was played. They're 10.5-point favorites against the Valkyries tonight. So it's not exactly as if anybody's given Minnesota much of a chance. Floor is yours the rest of the show. Let me know. I've got a dishwasher being installed upstairs, so I'll have to tend to that in a few. But definitely wanted to react to last night's game, share the moment. Last night's games, I should say. Share the moment with y'all. Any other comments you want to get them in. Any other topics you want to talk about, let's put them on the table. Get the likes, subscribes in, all those things. But yeah, it was, it's a moment you're kind of proud of the Fever, right? You're kind of proud that they again, if they're going to go out, they're going to go out on their sword. And they proved that once again. What a wild season it's been for them. And I think if you had said, okay, Caitlin Clark is going to miss the majority of the season. Her backup is going to be out for the season. Her backup's backup, who was signed to help and became a key player, is going to be out for the season. Sophie Cunningham's going to be out for the season. DeWanna Bonner is going to quit on the team, in a couple weeks into the season. And they're going to win the Commissioner's Cup, finish over 500, make it to the playoffs, and win a playoff game. Probably would be hard to convince people all those things would take place, considering what did take place. So that's why I do consider the season a success under the circumstances. Under the circumstances. You can check out the article on that Indiana Fever on SI in the description. Anybody want to see my wedding suit, by the way? It's got a fancy new wedding suit. I saw somebody saying they want to see me do the show in a tuxedo. But yeah, our flight is at like 6 a.m. on Friday. Diana, if you face the Fever, you are playing White now. Well, look, yes, Stephanie White is a damn good coach. Stephanie White is a damn good coach. And you got to give her all the credit in the world. You know, Coach of the Year, Nakase is going to win it because of the franchise being an expansion franchise and everything. But at the same time, you know, Stephanie White has a hell of a case. Carl Smesko, the other coach in this series, has a case too. Definitely. I would talk about the never mind. I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to open a whole can of worms. I thought that WNBA Playoffs was also changed to the best out of 5 and 7, not 3. Oh, in the finals, it's 7. The finals will be 7 now. Kevin says, show the suit. Kevin, are you around, man? So I can go grab the suit, and you're at work, right? I need back to the old days of the show where you could pop in for a second I can go grab it though if people want to see it. It's just a suit. I don't know how amazing that is. So yeah, the thing I was going to say, I don't know if I want to talk about, was the whole Paige Becker's Rookie of the Year presentation in contrast to Caitlin Clark, because people got so mad yesterday. I'm surprised at how angry that made folks. I did a couple of videos on it. One, I did a video and then I responded to the comments from that video because I just did not expect the reaction that it brought. And I understand that like Caitlin Clark had so many things that were mind-boggling happen to her in her rookie year. And the way that she was received and treated by the WNBA is one of the wildest stories in sports history, right? But I don't understand why one would root for things not to be done properly after that. And I had no problem with Paige Becker's being celebrated. It doesn't make me like retroactively furious. Paige Becker's the Rookie of the Year. She deserved to win Rookie of the Year. And to be honest, Caitlin Clark was in the playoffs last year, and I don't think she's going to really be appearing on the Jennifer Hudson show. It just doesn't feel like her vibe. So I was surprised how angry that made people. But let me know what you thought about that as well. Who was your favorite wrestler when you were a young boy? Mine was Rufus R. Jones, a.k.a. the Junkyard Dog. So I have a couple of phases of my favorite wrestler. There was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat when I was very young, and he fought Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. Then it was kind of Bret the Hitman Hart for a while before it became Shawn Michaels. And then it was Stone Cold and The Rock during the Attitude Era. And it transitioned into Roman Reigns into this latest era. I'm not a young boy now. And I wasn't a young boy when Stone Cold and The Rock were around either. But to answer that question, Kim Kelly says, how many players should a roster have on it? We definitely don't have enough now. Yeah, well, I mean, what are NBA rosters? 15 players? I mean, certainly more than 11 or 12 would be appropriate. They do play more games in the NBA. Let me count an NBA roster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they can go deeper in the NBA because they have players on two-way deals. But I would say 14 or 15 is closer to correct for sure. Chris Ward shouldn't compare CC to PB, but CC should have gotten a lot more shine given what she accomplished. I mean, CC doesn't need anything to get shine. She gets shine just by being herself and the attention she draws. So she doesn't really need any extra spotlight or attention. I think what was more is just like, the resentment and all the other stuff, the Olympic team and everything that went through. And, by the way, as a side note, send me your favorite, what you think are the most important Caitlin Clark moments and memorable things and important, significant moments of her career. I'm curious to what you guys believe that to be for my own edification, if you have those. But I think that's the difference, right? Like it's just like when I speak to somebody who doesn't follow the WNBA as much, or I tell them what I've been following or watching or covering, their first reaction is, how did the WNBA blow the Caitlin Clark situation? How is it possible that they could mess up that bad? That's the first reaction. I was playing basketball once in a WNBA All-Star Clark jersey, and the guy on the sideline who runs the gym, the coach said, better watch out. Somebody's going to blindside you from behind. Like that, that permeated pop culture beyond just with Caitlin Clark, and beyond just in the WNBA sphere, I guess. But at the same time, she doesn't need the spotlight when there is attention on her endlessly. Apparently there may be a problem with the dishwasher, folks. So get any more comments and suggestions, comments, likes, subscribes in. I'll get my suit because a couple people asked for the suit, and then I'm going to have to sign off. So reload the comments real quick. I'll grab the suit, and then thank you for bearing with me, as always, y'all. Unforeseen circumstances. Butters is, chill, Butters. There's the suit. And here's Wolverine. Literally one of number 2 of 1,000 ever made. That's what I'll be wearing to the wedding. Dishwasher technical difficulties. Didn't imagine. What do I think about the viewership dropping by 50%? Did it drop by 50%? I mean, what do I think? I'd have to look at the actual numbers, but with Caitlin Clark out, the viewership is going to drop. I mean, what do I think? I think it's duh. Yeah, that's the other aspect of it. That it was supposed to happen earlier, to show up later, and then there's a problem in the meantime. So that'll do it for today, because I got to take care of all this stuff. Thank you for thank you for the chats. Thank you for joining. Like I said, I will be at the, they almost got 1 million on Sunday. I don't think it was, what was the game? Connecticut Sun Let me look it up. Indiana Fever Game 1 playoff ratings. 1.8 million viewers. And then that was on Game 1. So it went from 1.8 million to 900,000 and change. But look, Caitlin Clark is it. I mean, we can't sit here and talk about how popular Caitlin Clark is and what a difference maker Caitlin Clark is. And you can't look at the numbers fall and then know the reason and then ask, what do you think of it? You know, Caitlin Clark is the reason for this wave, is the reason for the momentum. You take her away, it ain't going to hit the same. And those numbers are still higher than they were before Caitlin Clark arrived. The Fever numbers are still higher than every other team in the league because of that trickle-down effect. But of course, I mean, we all feel it. We all know it. That's why we were all so bummed. So I just like, I guess it's like the same thing with the Paige Beckers thing. You know, why am I going to continue to lament and rehash the topics that have been done over and over again? Are we heading for a lockout? Maybe a short-term one. I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure. Certainly, we're heading for a contentious negotiation. I hope they're not stupid enough to actually have a lockout on both sides or miss any games, threaten anything. You know, I've covered that before. It'd be a bag fumble of epic proportions. Of epic proportions. All right, y'all. I do have to go. Like I said, I've got we'll see on a live show tomorrow. I don't know if would people prefer a live after the game tomorrow, or I'll definitely get a video up after the game tomorrow. Definitely no live show on Friday because I'll be traveling, and over the weekend I'll be at the wedding. But I appreciate y'all bearing with me through Dishwasher Gate today as well. Always, always appreciate the audience interaction. Get those likes, subscribes in, any comments in later. And until the next one, eat.